Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this month's February Solutions Spotlight. This morning we'll be talking about all things OnBase, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. So, before we get started, I want to do a few housekeeping items here. Everyone in the audience is currently muted, but we do want you guys to ask questions and comments as we go throughout the presentation. So you'll see in the chat box on the right, there's a questions area. Feel free to write any questions or comments in that area at any point throughout the presentation. Also want to chat about the fact that this is being recorded. So if there's anyone who was unable to attend, or if there was a piece of information you want to jump back to at any point in time, you will be receiving these recordings after the presentation is over. And there'll also be a survey that will be sent out at the end of the presentation that we would love if you guys could fill out for us. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into some introductions. So my name is Ian Wilson, and I am the Implementation and Training Specialist here at Navient. And the goal of this morning's webinar is to discuss all of the resources available to you that can help you get the most out of your OnBase solution, or potentially to help you learn more about OnBase for a future implementation at your organization. Before we begin, I want to clarify one thing, and that is that you'll hear me saying both Hyland and OnBase throughout this presentation. Just for clarification purposes, Hyland is the organization that develops the software, and then OnBase is the name of the software that they develop that we will be discussing. So I'll be jumping back and forth, just wanted to call that out here. Jumping into our agenda here, the first item we're going to talk about is community.hyland.com. And so Community is the free resource for OnBase clients that you'll probably use the most out of all of the websites we're discussing here. It just requires an email and a password for login. And its main purpose is to provide a platform to learn about the products, industry solutions, and then be able to discuss these items both with Hyland and with other organizations. After chatting through that, we will go into training.hyland.com, and this is Hyland's training website. It has both free e-learnings and some paid services that are available that we'll be diving into. And then we'll jump into try.onbase.com, and this is Hyland's more interactive website. Again, it is a free website that just requires that community login, and you can jump in and do more hands-on OnBase solution information. So you can try out the software and really see what you like with each of the solutions. After going through those three websites, we're going to take some time to go into some of the hosted conferences by Hyland, including Community Live and TechWest. And then after that, we'll be jumping into some of the Navient hosted events and the resources that we have available as well, including our summit webinars, and then some of the online resources at the library and our quick reference guides. A lot of information and only a half hour this morning with us together, so let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So let's start off with the Community website. So again, Community is most likely going to be the resource you'll use the most out of what we discussed today. It's a powerful interactive website that Hyland's created. From a login perspective, it is free if you're an OnBase client. You just need to provide your email address and create a password. And one of the best parts about Community is that it really is like a community. There are forums, a powerful search tool. You can discuss all of the products and implementation solutions with other organizations, as well as discuss these items with Hyland's members as well. And I've got a couple highlights called out here, but I think let's just go ahead and jump into the website itself so you can get a better feel for what we have available. So at this point, you should be seeing the Hyland Community website. And basically at our landing page here, what we'll see is a robust search bar at the top, as well as a panel that is scrolling through some upcoming Hyland events, including TechQuest, which we'll be chatting about in the future. Recent activities that folks have been chatting about, as well as just some items on the right where you can provide feedback, look at the newest version of OnBase, see information on premium subscription, which we'll talk about here in a moment. Get a tour of the site, and on the top right here, we've got this My Followed Groups panel. I find this panel to be very helpful because it's an area where you can really just jump directly into the information that's pertinent to you or your organization. Now, in the interest of time, we're just going to jump through a few of the items here this morning. The first item that we're going to jump into is this products page. So by clicking products here at the top, we're brought to this page where we can see a couple of pieces of information. At the top, we've got some platform capabilities that we can search through. or we can search through categories. And these are the 6 big building blocks of ECMs that we chat about often. So I'm going to jump into Capture here just to show what would happen if you were to select. And what happened is we're brought to this search page where we've already had a lot of information pre-filtered for us. On the left-hand side, we're filtered into a product group category, looking at the product category of Capture. We can use tags, language filters, and industry filters, as well as some further product group filters, and see what website we want to be linking out to. And then all of the information is brought here on the right. And that's just our starting point. We can then proceed to filter further from that portion onwards. As you can see, I've had some other things in the search bar from recent searches. That's what the product page can show if we jump into one of the categories, but you can also jump into a product line. So if we were to jump into a product line, let's say right now I'm very interested in brainware. I like the idea of some of that OCR capabilities. So when we jump into brainware, we are now on a product group. So on this page, we'll be able to see a basic home information, which is a little overview of the information here in this paragraph at the top. And then we'll be able to see on this main page some tabs that we can jump into, the recent activity that's occurred within this group, as well as popular downloads, some further information on the side here. We scroll. I'm going to scroll back to the top, and we're going to take a look at these tabs just so you can see what's available for these products. There's a product overview tab that if we jump into, there we go. If we jump into, we can see a summary, some benefits, and the design of how brainware works. It further goes into application information. It really gives a very, basic but still slightly detailed overview of what the product is capable of. The next 2 tabs I think are my favorite tabs when it comes to community, and that's the blog and the forum. Now, blogs and forums are both very similar, but there's a distinct difference. When it comes to blogs, this is going to be information that Hyland employees or Hyland is directly providing onto the community website. So this is information that they are providing with articles or conversations or information that they are wanting to chat about from a brainware perspective. I find these to be really interesting to read. But if we move over to the forum side, we can also get that same kind of information, but this is from each individual at different organizations. So if you were perhaps a member of the brainware product and had a question or had an item you wanted to chat about, you could bring that up and create a new thread as seen on the right here and discuss that with other folks who are using this same information, as well as Hyland folks who would jump on. The next tab I think is something that we often use as well, and that's our resources tab. This is where you're going to find all resources and documentation associated with brainware. So you'll find things like presentations, PowerPoints, any MRGs, which are those modular reference guides that will go into very detailed information about the product. That all is within this page. And the last 2 items here are support and training. So as you can see, a lot of information, and that was just on one particular product. To keep us moving and looking at other options, if I click on Industry Solutions at the top here, we're brought to the Industry Solutions page. And this is another way of us drilling down into a focus group or a area where we can discuss information. This morning, we're going to look at Department Solutions, Industry Solutions, as well as Repeatable Solutions. I'd like to use the example of the Accounts Payable Department solution. So if I jump in, we're again brought to this group page, this interest group page. Very similar layout to what we just saw on the product group with brainware. And what we can do here is we can see again a home page, a blog and forum page, but it's slightly different because we have this AP Sales knowledge base page, and then again we have those resource pages. You can see the recent activity and popular downloads. And just another example of how you can drill down into a group specific to an industry solution as opposed to maybe a product. Now, if you notice, there's a little difference on this page before. There's this pink button here that says follow group, and prior we had a gray button that said unfollow group. What this means is I've not yet followed the accounts payable item, so it doesn't show on that opening page. I'll go ahead and click follow group, and now what this means is it shows on that opening page, but I also am able to tailor, based off of my profile information, notifications from this group. Maybe every time someone makes a blog post or a forum post, I'd like to get a notification or an email. Now I'm able to get access to that information because I'm following this particular group. Now, there are a lot of other tabs on here. I'm going to jump to just one more before we jump out of community, and that's the technical communities. So this is for those technical wizards that you may have at your organization, those folks who can really just make technology do things we couldn't think it could do before. This is a great place to dive into if you're really technically minded and you want to look at a interest group that is looking from a technical perspective as opposed to maybe a business and industry perspective or a product perspective. So there's broken up into categories with implementation and administration, database, general, testing, and upgrade. When we jump into administration, a couple examples that I know jump out to me that I think a lot of folks are interested in are authentication, and security, as well as third-party compatibility. I think these are two technical areas that many organizations are interested in jumping into. Just as an example to show, if we jump into third-party compatibility, you'll see we have that similar blog, forum, and resource area and our similar homepage. But specific to third-party compatibility, we have this third-party compatibility list, which shows different products that are compatible with OnBase. Are they supported? Where do they stand? And this is something you can export and work off of. So just a quick example of what's possible from a technical perspective and another just group to use. Jumping back to our PowerPoint here, in conclusion, really what I want to say when it comes to community is that it is a wealth of knowledge, both in the resources that are available, but also in all of the other organizations and folks who are on there as well, constantly moving and learning from each other. So I'd highly recommend jumping into that site and using that to your greatest benefit. The next site we're going to chat about this morning is training.hyland.com. And as the name suggests, this is going to be your main source of all things training when it comes to OnBase. Highlights here is that there are free trainings with e-learning resources and some quick look galleries that we can jump into, as well as some paid training options with a premium subscription and certifications and instructor-led courses. So again, we're going to jump directly into that website. And so if we go here, I've already got it pulled up. This is why I have so many tabs for those of you who noticed. And if we jump to the main training site here, this is what our homepage is when we're initially brought in. On our main homepage, you'll see another scrolling bar with TechQuest, which again, we've seen a couple places, so just hinting at what we'll be chatting about later. But we also have some popular training topics and then a lot of information on this main page. Now, this information is duplicated in this top bar, so I'm going to use the top bar to not make anyone motion sick from too much scrolling up and down. But a couple key items that I want to chat about this morning are the search function of the courses and some learning paths. So let's jump into those. We jump into this search function. I just went to courses and then search all courses here. And now we have access to all of the course information, including e-learning, instructor-led, self-paced, and premium. You see we have 311 results. And in the use case this morning, let's say I just want to look at anything that is OnBase specific, that is not underneath that premium subscription, so this would be free, and I want it to be an e-learning, a video that I could watch. And then I don't know about you, but I only speak English, so I'm going to click English here. Hopefully I can add other languages in the future, but we'll see. So if we jump in, we've now filtered all of this information to specifically OnBase e-learnings that are free to look through. So we've got a quick tour of the training website here, but we also have an agenda management option that we can look at, a quick look at some community questions that have been answered, some database reporting and API items, some end user essentials on various versions. So this is all information that is, again, just need that community login. That's all you need. It's all free other than that, and you can jump right in and take advantage of these videos. Now, something that always comes up from my perspective is when you're looking at this, 32 videos is still a lot of videos. How can I understand what is best for me and what I should actually watch? That's where these learning paths come into play. So if we go back to that courses dropdown and click the learning paths option, this is something that I think is incredibly unique and really awesome feature of the Hyland training site, and that's the learning paths gallery. This allows you to be able to have a tailored learning specifically for what your role is. Now, I would say a vast majority of organizations are going to have a system administrator, so we'll use that as our example this morning. If I click on the system administrator learning path, what you'll see is that there's a brief overview here, and then we have what certifications are recommended for a system administrator of OnBase. And then we have a responsibilities of a system administrator. Now, this is a nice drop-down area because it makes sure that what a system administrator does at your organization is in line with what a system administrator does for this particular training path. Once that's all been aligned, what you'll see is that we have multiple courses in this training path that will go through the whole process tailored directly for a system administrator. And they're all in chronological order, as you can tell from this Welcome to OnBase starting video. Now, all of these courses will vary, so you'll have some e-learnings, you'll have some instructor-led items, which would be courses with an instructor either remote or on-site at Highland. And then you'll also have some of these quick look videos, and then there will be some premium items in here as well. So all of this will be tailored directly for what is necessary for a system administrator. Now, at this point, you've heard me say premium quite a few times, and so I want to take a second to chat about what that entails. So premium is a paid subscription-based training that opens up some further opportunities for training within your organization. Going through the drop-down here, what we can chat about is these opportunities that we have are Upgrade Adoption Kit, and this is something that can help tailor an upgrade for you so that you've got further information and resources to really make that upgrade as smooth as possible. We have some premium report opportunities, and that's a way for you to monitor how folks are going through their training and a report of who is accomplishing what and how they're doing on their exams. And then there's this hands-on experience, which as you see is in beta here. The hands-on experience is really an opportunity to learn about the system and dive in. An example of one that's available is Intro to Workflow. You can jump in and do a demo of building out a workflow directly within OnBase with some guided help on the side. The last piece here is end user training. There are further end user training opportunities within that premium subscription that both are in video and otherwise forms. So with that, I think I'd like to go ahead and jump back to our PowerPoint and talk specifically about some of those OnBase training courses. So right here, we've got a list of the major courses that Highland offers trainings and certifications in. These are courses that would be, again, instructor-led. So you could either take these in Cleveland at Highland, or these could be taken remotely depending upon what's offered. If you are interested in getting certified or moving forward with these trainings, feel free to reach out to us at Navient at that marketing address that's listed here at the bottom. We would be glad to find you dates, discuss any costs with those classes, when the classes are available, and help get that all registered for you so that you can attend that training and be right on your way to getting that certification. The final item that I'd like to chat about is try.onbase.com. I think this is a very unique website, and it's a very fun place to kind of get your hands dirty. And as it sounds, try.onbase.com allows you to try OnBase. So I'll show you briefly online what that one looks like as well. If we jump to try.onbase.com, what you can do is you can look at some solutions or ShareBase or our app enabler and really start to play with what is available here. So I'm going to jump into the concept solutions because I think this has the most information to offer this morning. And when you jump into the concept solutions, you can see we've got department solution items, financial services, government, healthcare, higher ed, insurance, and so on. And each of these, if you were to open them, would have further tailored solutions specifically within them. I've already opened the department solutions, and if you see here, the top item is accounts payable. So if I were to click on accounts payable, it would bring us to this area. I am in Chrome, so the best compatibility, I should switch to Internet Explorer before moving forward. But as you can see, we can look at web client or Unity client information. We can download a PDF that will guide us through the accounts payable demo. And we can actually go click by click through a demonstration of a solution specifically built out for AP, where there are routing for PO and non-PO invoice workflows. And allow you to really see what would a solution look like if I were to build this out within my organization. Again, as you can see from the top, this sign out, this is again just straight using that community login. They're all linked together. So using that community login, you have access to this information and this powerful tool to really get a good idea of what solutions are available and what they can do. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into our PowerPoint. I think we've had a lot of fun on the internet, but it's time to jump back into our PowerPoint here and just discuss some of the other opportunities and resources that are available. So Highland also hosts conferences. Community Live is their large conference that they do each year. It has been all over the United States, Orlando, Las Vegas, I think even Nashville as well. And this year it's back in Cleveland, kind of a home base, if you will, for the Community Live this year. And what Community Live is it's a conference and an opportunity for all of the customers of OnBase to get together and learn and network with each other about some of the opportunities that are available with the OnBase solution. To kind of give some perspective here, there are thousands of customers from all over the world that use OnBase that are all invited to this Community Live event. And when they attend, you get lots of perspectives on what OnBase is capable of from many different types of organizations. Part of the week is hundreds of breakout sessions where Hyland would be discussing what's new with the software, what is possible, some unique solutions that folks have had, and then a lot of networking, again, between those customers about really trying to get the most of what OnBase can do for you. So that's Community Live. It is a conference that has a fee associated with it, but I would highly recommend investigating that and attending that, because I think some of the outcomes from Community Live are always impressive every year. On the more technical side, 3 times a year there's an item called TechQuest. Now this is again for those technical wizards we were discussing earlier. For folks who really want to learn what are all of the technical boundaries, what can we really make the software do from a technical perspective, this is a great opportunity to go to Hyland in Cleveland, Ohio, and meet with the folks who are designing and developing the software and really discuss some of the technical detailed information, some of the APIs, what is the future going to hold. We're looking to go this direction with some custom development that we're doing. Is that going to match with where Hyland is going in the future? All of those kinds of conversations can be really beneficial, and I highly recommend folks jumping into TechQuest who are more technical in nature at your organization. At this point, we've talked a lot about Hyland, and we've talked a lot about what Hyland can do, but I want to jump into what Navient does specifically. So as you know, since you are on this particular webinar with me this morning, we have hosted webinars every month, and these will vary from solution to support, and they focus on either different solution opportunities or different support techniques for using OnBase. They're offered every month, and those are things that I highly recommend attending. But we also have some other hosted events. One of those coming up this year is on-site training. So we will be hosting a system administration training and an introduction to workflow training this upcoming year in April and in June, where we'll have the instructors here from Hyland, but we'll be hosting it in Verona, Wisconsin, where you can go ahead and get trained on that information and work through those classes. If you are wanting to attend those events or attend those trainings, please reach out to us at that Similar Marketing website, and we can go ahead and get you registered for those courses. Now you'll notice that I didn't talk about our biggest item that we do every year, and that's our Navient Summit. So this upcoming year, the Navient Summit is going to be October 21st and 22nd in the Wisconsin Dells. And the Navient Summit is a little bit different than Community Live or TechQuest because it's just with Navient customers. So we're looking at 250 to 300 customer attendees, and we've got folks here who are using the system, working with us day to day, and talking through how we're getting the most of the system. The way that it's organized is that day one is a full day of 1-hour breakout sessions where we discuss new things that Navient is doing, new things that we see that's coming in the pipelines from Hyland. We have Hyland folks who also attend who will be doing presentations on new items that are coming through. And it's a really great opportunity, again, to do that networking and education opportunities. The second day, we also do breakout training sessions. So the nice thing about the second day is that you can learn some more information about the software. And if you attend this year, you may be able to meet me and we can talk about some of the training opportunities that we have coming forward. So I highly recommend attending this. And if you have any questions, again, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Looking at some of our key resources on Navient.com, this is our resource dropdown. And at this point, we've already discussed the Navient Summit and our events, but we haven't talked about that leftmost item, which is the resource library. And I think that's something that is really awesome about what we have available. If we jump into our resource library here, I've just got a screenshot of the website here. But what you can do is you can search through all of the information and resources that we have available to you. I opened up the filter box just to show just the types of things that are available. You can filter by multiple different industry options. You can filter by multiple different topics. And you can also look at case studies, white papers, solution summaries, blog posts, and then of course videos. And I think that's something I'd like to highlight here. Navient has a large video library of items that we have discussed and talked about throughout the years. Similar to this Solution Spotlight, once we complete this webinar, that will be recorded into a video and added to this resource library. So you'll be able to look at older Solution Spotlights as well as other items and videos that we have available. And I find this to be a great place to learn a lot about both the solution and what Navient has to offer. Another great resource that we have are our quick reference guides, and I commonly refer to these as one-pagers because that's basically what they are. They're a one-page document that gives you the overview and information for a specific purpose of the OnBase functionality. They're all listed out here, but I would like to give you a quick show of what they look like. This is just the Unity client tour, so a very basic one-pager showing what the Unity client can look like. It shows the document information panel, the home tab, the layout, the ribbon bar. It's really just a nice overview to say, hey, what do all of these buttons do? What does everything look like? And just a quick overview of what the Unity client looks like. And again, that's just one of the many that we have here. A quick call out is that these are available right now, and they are items that we do regularly update. So we update them with versions as well as we make any updates to the documentation themselves. So if you're going through an upgrade and you've got some of these, take a look again to see if you've got the newest updated version, if you've got everything available. Next, I want to chat about some of our more blog and newsletter-based information. So the Navient support team hosts a blog that has bi-weekly posts, both technical and business in nature, and it's something that I highly recommend taking a look at. It is a subscription because it's password protective, but that's it. Just needs to have a password, and that's something that is required by Hyland as we pull this out. So that is all it requires. It's very easy. All you'll need to do is go through an email process, and we can give you the password, and then you have access to our blog, which, like I said, goes through business, technical items, new items coming up in the industry. It's a great place just to keep up to date of what's going on. In addition to the blog, we also write out a monthly newsletter, and for all folks who are interested, that newsletter gets sent out, and it provides important highlights and items that you may be interested in. That doesn't require a subscription or an email. You'll automatically be enrolled in that and be able to receive those newsletters. Just a quick post here on our social media. So we do have a LinkedIn where we share articles in the industry and articles that are important to us and important to the industry. We have a Twitter handle, and then we have a Facebook. The Facebook is a great place if you want to learn a little bit about our culture and hear some of the things that we do for the community, or just put some more faces to the names that you've been hearing or working with. Finally, just a brief overview of the important links that we have available. OnBase community, training, try, our blog, and then those reference guides were some of the big items that I wanted to call out here. So we've got a few minutes left to jump into questions, and I've also had Guy sitting in the room with me, making sure that we've got all questions monitored. So Guy, what have we got from the question side?
All right, there's a few that came in, and Ian, why don't you go back one slide just so people can reference those URLs for the different websites as we're going through the questions.
Absolutely.
There's two that have come in so far, so if you do have a question, we still have a little bit of time. Feel free to still type that in within the questions panel in the GoToWebinar panel there. First question. How can you quickly jump to or find a group form using Esri integration as an example? Would you be able to show that really quick?
Yeah, I can jump in really quickly here. Let me jump back to community. So if you just want to jump into a group form quickly,
I'd suggest going the products route for something like that.
You can, if you've already followed it, you can jump directly into them here. So if Brainware is a group you've followed, you can jump right in. But if you want to jump in quickly, let's say based off of the products, all you have to do is jump to the page and then
scroll up a little bit and use the search there up at the top of that.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and just type Esri.
If we type in Esri, integration for Esri, if we were to click upon that, that takes us directly to our integration for Esri.
Yep.
So you can do the search bar to get directly to groups as well. as using some of the areas that they've got available.
Yeah, that would be the quickest if you're looking for a specific product. Otherwise, that search bar up at the top will give you much broader search across not only the products, but the industry solutions, the Hyland Cloud, so on and so forth. Another question, where can one go to learn more about HL7 beyond the one course and the premium courses? Well, that's a great question. Hyland sometimes does not have a lot of resources available, depending upon the product. For those that aren't aware, HL7 is a healthcare term for interchange of data between different systems. Something like the HL7 module, the modular reference guide is probably the next best place to go gather further information pertaining to that. However, training services at Hyland is always looking for feedback on what courses that they should be constructing some content on. You could either route those types of requests through Navient, or I believe that there's different email addresses available on the training.hyland.com website also.
And just to call out, we are at 10:30 at this point. We will be sticking around for further questions, so if you've got questions, feel free to type them. We'll still be here, but if you do need to drop for another meeting, thank you for joining today. We appreciate your attendance.